Okay, good evening, everyone. Once again, we're back with episode 5 of class. This time they're calling it Brave-ish Heart. Okay, this one to me, I don't know. They were just all over the damn place. They just went way off the rails, left and right, but then they faded back, and I don't know. Well, I'm going to get your guys' take on it, but let's first get introductions out of the way. Let's start with Matt.
Hello, Brave-ish Heart Tegan.
Okay, Philip.
I am the Swords of Destiny.
Okay, William.
Hey, now, how you doing, everybody?
Oh, AJ.
Hello from down under.
Tim.
Aloha.
Okay, Graham.
All right, Frollo, time to hop in some caves.
Okay, Beefhead.
Well, this was a bit crap.
I was going to say the same thing. Susan.
Hello.
Okay,
my flowers have eaten my face.
Yeah. All right, that happens to all of us these days. You know, it just happens. Okay, now, well, especially after a bad LSD trip, but I don't even know what to say about this one. Now you got a 14-year-old who knows everything about, now you got a 16-year-old girl who suddenly Captain Master Sensei can overtake the warlords in the territory. Okay, before I go nuts, let's start off with you guys. Let's get your opening thoughts on this thing. Okay, we're going to screw around the order a little bit. Let's start with Beefhead.
Yes, it's an episode that's got another punished title, so I probably should call this one Ram versus the Volcano. I don't have a problem with the actors. I don't have a problem with how the program looks. I've had a problem this week with how the writing, to be honest with you. Okay, that's fine. We know where we are and everything like that. Yeah, as they're transported, go through a crack. They end up on the Shadow King's planet, which looks like 90% of any metal album from the 1980s, heading towards a fiery castle that looks like King Bowser's from Mario. That's fine. I can deal with that. But then we've got a complete character who's gone through a 360 now. We've had Wham Bam, thank you, Ram, who's now a screaming little girl. And as they make their way, there's shoehorned in basically a little bit about his religion, being a Sikh and everything like that. It didn't seem to be at the right place, to be honest with you. And the story just bounced around. And the best things about it, the same thing from last week, is Quinn and Dorothea Ames, the new head teacher. They seem to be the best thing. The horror with the petals and what looked like a children's entertainer slapping into the window, and I even liked it with the second person to fall down, refused to take the phone away from their ear as they fell to the ground. Everyone hates a cracked screen. We know how irritating that can be. And so, yeah, that was good. I liked that nastiness, that threat level of it. But the idea of the anchor between a mother and daughter being the way to find your way back. This obviously they're trying to do some idea of being lost and found. Do you know what I mean? But it just came across as really forgettable, to be honest with you, and easily interchangeable. Sort of, if you lost, you can look and you will find me. Actually, no, that's Cyndi Lauper time after time. No, hang on, if you're lost, I will find you. Hang on, that's Cyndi Lauper time after time again. All the time, the poor king of the Shadow King is sort of sitting there with swords across his throat, saying, "Oh, no, waiting to be decapitated here. Any chance you could get on with this?" And then the dad, who they've portrayed as a bumbling idiot, all of a sudden has a crazy moment of clarity where he's jumped through a hole in space and time and ends up on this planet. And sort of, the past can hurt you, but you can either run away from it or learn from it. Actually, no, that's Rafiki from The Lion King. But you can see how all the sort of dialogue is quite forgettable. It's nothing like we had with the first couple of episodes, to be honest with you, and certainly the bits with Capaldi. He can do good dialogue that is memorable, but it just seems to be I don't know, it's just sort of like padding, to be honest with you. I would rather have the stuff with Quinn, the stuff with that Ames, and the B-plot was so much stronger. I mean, yeah, I'll carry on with this, and I know some people may shoot me down in flames for this, but it was just all over poor, shoehorned in. And yeah, that's where I'm standing in it right now, man. Class is falling out of favour for me. I hope it really turns itself around and gets back to something that we had with perhaps the first episode.
I know, it seems like the only grounded storyline was the subplot with Quill, the new headmistress, and the flowers. Everything else was just on and off the freaking reservation throughout the whole damn thing. I'm like, wait a minute. Suddenly, cowardly dad who was going to take out his whole family is Mr. Bravery. I'm going to go hop into this dimensional rift. And so, oh my God. Like I said, it just went nuts. Oh, but okay, before I go crazy, let's go to AJ.
Yeah, the story was, like everyone has said already, is a bit over the place. For me, it felt like 5 or 6 short stories sort of very loosely tied together. I did like the whole thing where they're standing on the planet, ready to fight the Shadow King, and they're having a conversation about their relationship. I'm amazed the Shadow King didn't say, "Are you here to fight or are you here to talk?" sort of thing. So the story did feel dragged and a bit tiresome. I did like the whole thing where what was the head teacher's name again? Miss what? Sorry.
Not Miss Quill. You mean the head?
Dorothea Ames.
Yeah.
Thank you. Where she's like, got a gun to Mateus's head saying, basically, you do what I want now or he's dead. Kill the flowers. Which to me seems very Torchwood 1 with how they handled a lot of the alien threats of the world. But, I can't really say there was anything truly memorable except for when the mum stood up at the end of the episode. That was basically what I can really found. Wow.
Well, either that or Quill attacking the car.
Yes, that was pretty cool.
Loved it.
You do realize that's not my car, right? Oh man, it was just all over the place. Oh, but okay, let's go to Philip.
I would agree with everybody's statements so far. I did find it kind of wordy and verbose, the episode, because it was all about long dialogues with not much action happening. And I kept like what Tim said, get on with it half the time, because it was just not going anywhere after a while. I did think that there was a bit of loose communication to do with how to destroy the flowers, with Charlie pulling out his super weapon, and yet you had April using her power of the Shadow King to do the whole job anyway. So that was kind of a new point with Charlie pulling out that ball out of the box thing. It's kind of mute.
He was unaware of that. That was what Mateus texted Tanya.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, fair enough. And you know what? Who was slightly missing out of that whole lot? The black girl, what's her name, Tanya? She seemed to be getting less and less parts in this.
When she stayed with the parents, they were trying to explain to them what was going on with the other.
But she seemed to be less central these days, as opposed to everybody else getting big parts in each episode. She seems to be becoming less and less, which I don't like. I want to see more of her.
You started to remind me of Nyssa, the know-it-all with no dialogue.
Yeah, there you go. And like you said, the Quill thing, attacking the car, that was quite a little fun part of it all. I don't know. I don't know how this thing is supposed to play itself out. We're obviously going to see the Shadow King again breaking out of his jail and getting his revenge at some point. I'm still not clear about the headmistress and who she works for. I don't know where that's going and what they're trying to achieve.
Well, the convenient new board of governors so we can get William Russell's name out of this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
But one thing we brought up was the fact that this show's kind of reminded us in a way of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but never more than it did today with that subplot with the Shadow King and all that with I forgot her name already. Sophie Hopkins' character. April. All of a sudden, she's the strong killer woman protector, and there's Ram, and it's just like the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He's a little bitch. Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. I've seen this before. Okay, let's go to Texas Tim.
Yeah, I would agree with everybody so far. I think the problem was that as a two-part story or two-episode story, it wasn't structured that well because this one was way too busy, whereas last week was a little bit wanting. You wanted a little bit more of the B plot, and you're right. I mean, the thing is it's modeled itself as a sort of Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, but it's not nearly as clever or as funny as that one was. I mean, it's not. I'm not dissing Ness at all, but he's no Whedon when it comes to natural dialogue. You know what I mean? Like a couple of guys have pointed out already, it seems like all they're doing is talking and not really doing much, even though the episode itself is too busy. It's bouncing back and forth between groups of characters. And I think, again, the one who got the back seat was Quill again. I mean, she's the one that we should be seeing more of and more involved. And they just keep on having her around just for, humor and whatnot. So,
to be used as somebody's slave.
Yeah, and I think that they really need to focus on her for an episode, and her and what's his name need to just duke it out. That and the whole love story bits between the two couples was a bit too on the nose. I think. I mean, it was like even Quill was saying, "Get on with it already," come on. So it's just not. It's like I think like Beefhead said, it's not as good as the first two episodes were, but it's just I don't know. It's a badly structured two-parter, I would say.
Okay, let's go to Susan.
Okay. I can see your point, you guys. I do have trouble with the idea that the Shadow King was so disempowered that he wasn't able to fight her. I mean, April is cool, but April isn't like warrior trained. She's not been fighting her whole life. I mean, she's been fighting with her missing father and all these invisible characters in her life. But here she stands before a real visible character, and then she hesitates. She doesn't take his head off, and this hesitation, and the Shadow King didn't fight back. I mean, there was the opportunity. I mean, I've been sort of wow about all these cool weapons. This one, the weaponry just seemed, extra and superfluous, and I really didn't know what to think about April or even the prince. Charlie, I didn't really know what to think about them wielding their weapons. They didn't wield their weapons. They just took them out and showed them off a little bit. But there wasn't an actual.
That's a metaphor.
Fight.
Yeah.
Oh, just don't interrupt, Will, please. Okay. I just meant that they hadn't fought. They had just kind of smoothed it over. And it wasn't actual. The stakes weren't high. I mean, in Doctor Who, when a Dalek attacks, the stakes cannot be higher. When a Cyberman is going to convert your community into Cybermen, the stakes cannot be higher. When these little flowers are eating people, the stakes are high, but not to wield a weapon is like, I mean, where are the stakes? Why isn't there a sense of this being something that actually matters? I mean, does it matter to the London whether or not the flowers?
There's two aliens bickering amongst themselves already. That's why they were trying to figure out what to do.
What I'm saying is the stakes aren't high enough. A rip in space and time is not creating any sort of real danger for people. If you can stand there in front of a warrior with your swords drawn and not do anything, I mean, the stakes have come down so much. Anyway, so I'm just wondering if they're going to actually raise the stakes and actually create drama with this, or if it's going to be sort of a chat show with a little fisticuffs in the middle of it. Because I mean, there's a lot of emotional stuff going on, but not real drama. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from though, because you got April here, right? And the most sincere, probably violent, thing she's probably ever faced was somebody getting mad and throwing down their pieces in chess club. Yeah. Now there she is. Oh look, like a freaking Ninja Turtle. I'm like, wait a minute. Just because you've shared this guy's heart doesn't mean all of a sudden you're like the master ninja.
But did she not? I'm sorry, but did she not inherit some of his skills? She inherited his way of. She learned about their whole history because he would share. That's what she said. She tells him that's why That's why she knows what's going on in that other world or that underworld or whatever.
But
so
still,
why didn't she kill him?
Yeah,
because they're sharing two hearts. You kill one, you kill the other.
they're still sharing the heart thing going on, is what it is. That's getting old fast.
Which sadly that they're back to where they were by the end of the episode. It's status quo.
Yeah.
It's like symbiosis.
It's like they're gonna beat that horse till it's dead and into the ground. Oh man,
Stakes are low. It just isn't the same as having something that actually matters.
Now here's my thing. Also, you're out walking around, right? And these things start landing on you and start little nipping at you all the time. Wouldn't you like run inside and like roll, dick, roll? I'm like, really, they're that much of a threat that they're sitting there eating people in the freaking skeletons right there in front of you, and they're just like, okay, bad day. Like no real struggle whatsoever. I'm like, really, these things are biting the piss out of you, and you're just basically going up, okay, no bad. I'll just stroll around outside. I won't run or anything. Oh my gosh. What is it, AJ?
Unless multiple plants biting you at once, they can like induce paralysis or something.
But the thing is, they never made that clear, really. They just said, okay, they're going to eat you.
I'm just trying to give like a plausible reason why.
That's what I was hoping they'd say, is there's some kind of venom effect, but they didn't. They just said they're going to eat you and multiply. Like, what was going wrong?
And it doesn't seem to show you a kind of real kind of threat that those plants are. They're all over the street on the ground, and nobody's going around. No military is coming around trying to sweep up or contain it all. It's all just
Well, why don't you just, if these things are that bad, call a unit and get a couple of freaking flamethrowers. Oh, they can't be burnt. Oh, bull crap. At least try. Come on. Okay, Graham, you're up next.
Obviously I wasn't here with you last week for Rocky of the Cocky down at Fraggly Rocky. This was all the other place. It really was. Good points. Good points. Quo, the car, the headmistress. And then I'm struggling. I really am struggling. Greg Aston, good actor, but Charlie really is beginning to piss me off. He's a whiny little freaking brat. The bee plot with the carnivorous plants. You won't bring me flowers. Screw you, Barbara Streisand. The guys are right, more interesting than the actual A plot with the whole Ram and April and the land of the Shadow King, then the whole journey to Middle Earth, / dancing with wolves type thing. I'll forever find you. Go bugger yourself, man. The down and out father who all of a sudden gets an attack of consciousness, and even though he almost tried to kill them within a car wreck, oh look, I'm going to sway you and you're now going to be even more empowered and yourself and be the hero that I never could be. Bull crap, lazy writing, and we have a problem here now, folks. And I don't know where we go for here. Nothing against the actors, but Patrick Ness has got to up his game.
I know, it's just way on and off the rails and off the reservation. I'm not kidding. It's like I felt like I was on a freaking roller coaster. I felt like I was blindfolded on a roller coaster going backwards. I was like, oh man, okay, let's hop on over to William. Go ahead.
Well, we agreeing with everybody that what's going on with this episode. I have to agree that the B plot was a good plot, but it left a lot of unresolved things. Remember, this is supposedly a second part of a 2-part story. So we didn't know nothing about the flowers, where they come from, nothing about that, or about the headmistress after all that situation ended. Like maybe Charlie or Quill could have punched in the face for all that shenanigans she tried to do. But the thing I didn't like was this episode bring a Mary Sue into the story, which in a way is gonna make this series look real bad considering what happened. I understand that she might have learned because being connected with the king and that she know how to fight. But the king is supposed to be the way he looks like he's made of hard concrete like that. So her punching or hitting him should have hurt her a little bit because all she has is skin. So I was scratching my head like, yo, a bone should have broke or something the way she kicked them. So that I really made me scratch my head on that one. So in a way, even though I have nothing against the actress like that, I think they're gonna have to write off April off the show because they gotta get rid of this Mary Sue nonsense. They have to. And like Graham said, the Charlie character, yeah, it was a good thing that he said no, and he was gonna do it, but in a way he changed his mind. That was good for him, but he stood out right there for not using his people's soul to destroy the flowers, because that's not right. That he's being forced to do something because they would why? Because they would have shot his boyfriend. You know what? There's more of them out there somewhere for him to start dating somebody else. So that's something he should right off the bat. He should have said, "Hey, go ahead and shoot him." But guess what? I'm still not gonna use it. So you could turn yourself around and go back to whoever these governor is that we don't know nothing about. But I like that. That wasn't sort of left unresolved about that because it's like what AJ said. It sounds a little bit like Torchwood a little bit. So that's that. I hope in a way it solves that. And I got to agree with Philip because we besides Tanya being used to explain to the parents what's going on in the situation, she wasn't really doing anything in the story. I didn't like that at all. But we all seen from episode 1, she's the smartest one out of all of them. Even though she's the youngest one, but she's the smartest one. You know what I'm a little bit ticked off about because the name of this show is Class, and it's about a situation that's going on in the school. We need to see more of the other students in the school. It can't be always these 4 or 5 characters. We got to see other students going around and involving in these situations. Just other risks could be opening up in the men or boys locker room or in the basement, up in the roof like that. We got to see more of these students going around. Why everybody got bumped off? Only 5 left now. That makes no sense. So for this episode, I'm not very impressed. The first part was not a bad first part leading into this one, but man, it really, really disappointed me.
Yep.
Just as a follow-on, like Will was alluding to there, the headmistress at the end, which had all the variables and everything, basically tied up and accounted for. Well, if the governors already knew what way this thing was going to fly, what was the point of the episode?
Well, that was what she was saying, that it's like gambling. We know that this may happen, this may happen, this may happen, while using particular individuals to get what we want done.
Yeah.
But you know what? It could have gone either way. That's why they went ahead with it. That's what she says, anyway.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, regardless of which way it went down, they already knew what the outcome was going to be, regardless of who done it. So what was the point?
I don't think that's what she said, though. Is it?
I misread it, but that's what I took for it.
And to the point about there being other students, this didn't happen at school. I mean, this pretty much happened to all these characters while they were out of school.
Yeah. No, I don't know about this story, but I mean, the name of the show is Class. Like we seen from the first episode, we see them in class, and the rift opened up at the school. But like, we're gonna have to start seeing some of the other students in some of the 3 episodes left of this season.
I understand where he's coming from. He's saying it's kind of shrinking down the idea of class.
To be fair, only the first 2 episodes took place at the school, whereas the third was at Tanya's house mostly, and then this one was a 2-parter that didn't happen anywhere near the classrooms.
It was
pretty much. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but you know what? If you can save money, you don't need a bunch of extras walking around. You don't need a bunch of extras walking around. So that's probably what it is. They'll probably focus on some episodes at the school.
I know, but remember, to solve the creation of Mary Sue, they're gonna have to get rid of April. And
I don't know what that means. That's just something people talk shit about on the internet.
Well, Freedom will explain what that means.
Mary Sue is a literary term. It's been around a lot longer than people think it has. It's about you have a certain female character who becomes a know-it-all, then automatically, kind of like a MacGuffin. You know, all of a sudden, oh, look, I know how to solve the situation, blah, blah, blah. Yeah,
that's not really what happened in this story, is it? I mean,
yeah, it is.
How? I'm
sorry. Oh, look, I'm tied into him. Now I'm a super ninja fantastic warrior that can fight a concrete giant that is 3 feet freaking taller than I am and take him toe to toe. It makes no sense. I'm sorry.
And defeat him, and then use the rest of the shadow to defeat the flowers.
And then you've got Tanya over there. All of a sudden, she's like freaking the cosmic awake or Hamaharishi of time and space. I'm like, wait a minute, hold it. I don't give a damn how gifted a student she is. She don't know jack freaking shit about what's going on in the cosmos. Yet suddenly, oh, boom, I'm pulling these solutions out of my ass like a magic hat. Oh my God, it just got off the rails. It did. They just went a little too crazy with this one. But okay, let's get to Matt Rose before we go nuts. Okay.
Hello. In terms of a two-parter, there were some bits I really enjoyed out of this one. My favourite moment, this is a really standout moment of Miss Quill just getting enough of Charlie and just slapped him, and she said it was worth the pain just to feel what it was like. In this episode, I really hated him. He was so whiny, and I was so glad when she slapped him on screen. It's like, oh, it's worth it. I liked Unit got a bit of a mention at the start of it, like who do you work for, Unit? But and then the governors, I still want to know who they are and everything. But plot A, as everyone's been covering, I didn't find it that interesting. Plot B with the attack of the killer flowers was better. It just also felt a bit like a finale, this did. It just felt like they were wrapping up so quickly on the Shadowkin story. And then it's just like, so what next? And like, oh, come see me Monday. I'll get this creature out of your head. But it's just like the series felt like it. If this was the finale, it would have been all right. And then if it come back for series 2, it would be better. We don't know.
If this was the finale, there is no season 2.
I said in the terms of wrapping up, because it just felt everything had raced to the end of the Shadowkin story. But
it did kind of feel like almost a series finale thing, but I think what it is, they're just pretty much wrapping up the Shadowkin so they can get on to other things. Yeah. You know, they're kind of putting them off to the side for now, so that way they can move on to other creatures or whatnot. At least that's my vibe on it. But okay, let's open up the floor.
Okay.
The only thing I really walked away from these 2 episodes, really giving a flying rat's ass about, was who the hell are the governors and why do they seem to know everything that's going on? All right, jump ball. Anybody wants to hop in, go ahead.
That will probably be played out towards the end of this season.
There was that.
Oh my. One more thing. In regard to William's thing about other pupils not being included in the class season as we're watching it, the books do include other characters in the classes and stuff. So it does expand in the book about other people outside of their gang. In the books, though, but obviously not in the TV show.
Well, from the way they're describing Cole Hill, I'm shocked that the student uniform doesn't involve red shirts.
Well, I think it was also a bit too on the nose with these 2 couples that you have because, you know, you have on the one hand, which is kind of funny, where Rama is saying, you know what, I've only known you for a month, when she's like expecting to say, I love you. And, but then later it's with the 2 boys and it's like, oh, you know, and even what's her name? The villain says, you know, oh, young love, and Quill's just about ready to kill everybody because it's so fucking corny. So I mean, it's like seriously, are we supposed to think that these guys are so attached after 1 month? Because that's all. I mean, that's all they've known each other, and it's just a bit.
Well, that's not.
Hold on. It's a bit unbelievable though that it would be like this alien's going to care so much about one other human that he, you know, likes to shag. When they hold that thought that he's gonna fucking what do you call it? Break his own will and do this dastardly thing that he doesn't want to do. That's why it was a bit unbelievable.
I'm assuming that Charlie and Mateus, or whatever it's called, they've been knocking around a bit longer than what we've seen them.
Well, Ram and April have been together for a month. And yeah, Charlie and his boyfriend is longer because the show started with them already been dating. So we got that. But yeah, but Charlie shouldn't go ahead and shoot him. I'm still not going to use my weapon. That makes no sense.
Right.
I think there's more going on with Mateus than him just being the casual.
Yeah, notice how he was able to send that message to this chick like, well,
yeah, there is something shady about that dude. I think there's more to his character than
that's a good point.
I'm going to throw it out there. I reckon Charlie's just banging him for the vodka.
The thing that I struggle with this is that it seems to be messages and plot points seem to be shoehorned into scenes, there's not a flow. Mm-hmm. There's not a flow to it. So
bingo.
And then that's why it just doesn't seem to work. That's why all the bits don't put together and go right. And there's a lot of jumping around, trying to do things, squeeze points in, and that's why it doesn't work. The best, one of the most believable characters and who acts as you would expect them to react is Ram's dad. Yeah. Because as a parent, he says, right, no, this is enough. This stops now. And, he's the only one who acts like he should do. He acts like a parent. But aside from that, I did like Miss Ames, because you do get that idea that she's sort of playing all the angles, the manipulator behind it. She said that her group's called Upward Reach, who installed the board of governors. So I don't know what that is. I like that it's a modest outfit and doesn't like to get involved with politics and government because it gets in the way, red tape and everything like that. But I like that. You notice she doesn't swear. She's always very nice. She's the pleasant face of evil.
Pleasant face of evil.
But yeah, the one good thing, I suppose, even though we are still getting Quill light, is that we got a bit of emotion out of her about how she felt about losing her people and everything like that. That was a good thing, I think. That was, at least you got that much out of her character this week. But the rest of it just didn't flow.
See the whole angle with April even acquiring the whole Shadow King's power, just for that brief couple of minutes to kill the petals, and then boom, it's gone again. That would have been fine and would have worked had it not been so unbelievable the way she acquired them.
Well, that's what I thought was kind of sloppy too. Is all of a sudden by the end of the episode, she's back to where she was, and
yes, what was the point?
Thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah. The other thing I'm interested to see how far can they. As you lot said to me before, the actress that plays her mum is actually in real life disabled. I'm interested to see how far they can go with making her being able to walk. I reckon something's going to go wrong where it goes back, where it's reset time, and she goes back to being disabled.
To me, I would think that's more of a C plot than anything. That really doesn't have a whole lot to do
that's not part of that. Yeah, that plot should not even be shown anymore because we only got 3 episodes left. So like the other. I mean, we need to see more about Tanya. Like that, we don't know nothing. We haven't seen that much. And Quill, we never. I mean, we got to show Quill do something in this season because her character's not really being used very well, except as a slave. And then of course that emotional, like Beef said, how she felt about losing everybody she knows. That stood out, but then I'm doing more with her in the episodes.
To be fair, we know she can demolish a motor and drive a bus. So.
I will say one other thing as well that I did notice the other week with and this week to a certain degree with Mateus is if you listen to a lot of his asides where that you see the relationship between Charlie and
Mateus.
Quill. No, but you notice his asides, his comments, and everything like that. How he equates sort of the slavery to oppression and everything like that. And obviously, get the ideas from an Eastern Bloc country, whether it's something come from a country where there's an oppressive government or something like that. So you do wonder whether there will be a clash of ideologies going along. So from that, I'm more interested in his character than I am Charlie. And if Charlie's supposed to be a focal point to the gang, then it's not working.
Remember last week that was Mateus was disgusted by the way Charlie was treating Quill.
Even Tanya was saying, "Oh, you're treating her like a slave." No, he was pissed off about that, but she told him the truth.
Yeah. If your periphery characters are more interesting, seem more realistic than your core characters, then you've got a problem. Yeah. And I know perhaps Ness is more suited to writing stories in book form than he is writing structuring it as a television show. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's struggling to jump between the two. Maybe it's a case of he needs to be a showrunner and have people who have got more generated towards doing this sort of stuff. But it's going to take a lot to pull this back. I'm not saying he's really bad. But if you're going to place fault at this, it has to go with him. And I'm trying to sort of say, maybe this format isn't suited to him best. Doesn't serve him best.
Yeah, like a Robert Holmes, the guy who really nailed the double act in Doctor Who. There are all these double acts going on, and it would be great if they would shine.
They're just picking you up in your point, Beef. Don't worry, Beef. Gallifrey base will have the Screw You Patrick Ness thread up right as we speak. So,
but you know what? You're always going to get wrinkles in a new season, in a new series anyway. In time, they'll iron those wrinkles out, and it'll probably be good once if they get a second shot.
I don't think it's that bad. It's just not that good. And to be fair, it's not really aimed at anybody in this kind of audience, I wouldn't think. Making it a Doctor Who spinoff was a way to get people to look at it, I think. But to be fair, this is aimed at like 10-year-olds and up, pretty much, I would think. Maybe 12-year-olds and up. I don't know.
I think it'll be a bit more higher than 12-year-olds.
But I mean, in other words, this is to appeal to younger people than people like us who've seen everything. Well, except for Matt. So.
Yeah. 12, but pre-shagging, drugs and alcohol stage. So there you go.
Young adults.
Adults. That's not that. Yeah, no. But let's spitball here for a second. Where the hell is this went after rails? Because the first 2 episodes, you had a set formula, you had a standard format, and it was great.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, exactly. I know you get this combustible train wreck where you've got too many cast members and too many plot devices going on at the one time. You're like,
don't you think it was because it was a sloppily constructed 2-parter? Shouldn't it have been more thought put into it? Because last week it felt like there wasn't enough going on. This week it was too much going on.
It is. It's too many. It's spinning too many plates. The third episode, which was seemed to be character centric, with Tanya talking to her dad, that was good. That was good. Yeah. It was concise. You had a point of focus, and everything sort of circled around that. It was just like it is. It's just like
a free for all.
What am I supposed to be looking at? Am I supposed to be looking at this? Am I supposed to be looking at that? And you just can't. You just can't do it.
The internet has already started.
Let's see. Oh!
Just to let you know, yes, the internet has already started.
Well, that's the internet for you.
Okay, well, here's a question, though. Would this episode work better if it was a 3-parter instead of a 2-parter and get every bit of that?
No.
It would still be 2 over.
When you only have 8 episodes to play with, I would think that'd be a bit of a waste. You'd want to come up with more concise stories. I think this is like you said earlier. It's a bunch of short stories put together into one thing, and it doesn't really meld that well. I think. I mean, or not even a bunch of short stories. It's like 2 big plot things. They don't really go together that well. They have everybody in there doing something, but there's not really enough for the cast to do when you have a cast that big. it seems pretty lopsided. Like last week was a bit too not enough going on, and this week too much going on. And it's like it's trying to do everything too quickly, I think.
And now you've completely undermined the mystery that is the Cabinet of Souls. You've completely got rid of that now.
Oh my God!
Ready.
My heart will go on. Oh my God!
Okay.
Welcome to the internet, Patrick Ness. Yeah.
But you've got a point though. So where do we go from here now?
Well, apparently next week everybody gets detention. So whatever, you know.
Well, maybe that will be a Quill-centric story. I mean, because she was the one that was like locking them in, but it seemed like again you see more of them than her. I do think that they need to focus on her for a little bit because all these teases are just it ends up being kind of frustrating. You want to know more about her and why is she. I mean, they've told us, with a few lines of dialogue here and there, but I mean, at the end of the day, she ends up being put in the back seat again in this episode. When you thought when they teased it last week, you thought it was going to be a little bit more.
I think episode 7 is going to be centered on her because the title has her name on the title, so that it might be centered on her.
I don't know because I obviously can't read anything into trailers, but next week looks like a sort of a pressure cooker type thing, to be honest with you. It's something akin to Midnight, if you wanted to make a Doctor Who analogy to it. And sadly, if you're going to have that, then that's still going to push Quill back. She's still going to be Quill light. So, I repeat what I said last week. There needs to be sort of 60-70% more Quill and dial back the score lot, to be honest with you, because you are missing that dynamic.
But then if we do have a lot more Quill, it's going to be flashbacks to her time on that planet that they come from, Rodea, or whatever it's called.
Every episode we've gone through and looked at, the most memorable bits and the best bits that we've all said about every episode really have been the bits with her in.
Yeah.
So, play to your strengths. We've seen other TV shows go by the way that where it's just fallen apart because you make a character who registers with the audience, who is that point, and you just don't pay them enough attention, and people will just drop off.
Then you that will simply just bring you to the point of there's too much Quill, not enough about the others. Then you get that kind of.
Well, like you said earlier, Philip, this is the first year. I mean, so it's the first series. If they do continue, they might work out some kinks. You're right. I mean, you're right, Tim. You created an awesome character, but you don't really know till it gets filmed and in the can that that's somebody you need to see a bit more of because the actress brings her own A game to the role. So I mean, they may be kicking themselves now, saying, "We should."
Well, I just think though, is from. And I'm not saying that I could do this job better or anything like that. Don't get me wrong for a minute. No. But what I'm saying is that by this point in a season, you want to have cohesion of your core characters, and there still doesn't seem to be that. There still seems to be like paired off. Charlie Mateus, you have April and Ram, and then you've got Tanya, who just like shows up when someone's got to take a phone call. She seems to be the group receptionist. She gets a phone call thinking they might have had sex last week. She gets a text this week.
But isn't that the problem we have with a lot of limited run series? Where like you only have eight episodes to play with. You do a lot of shorthand and expect the audience to pick up on it. I've said that about Doctor Who a lot of times in the past. When people say it goes too fast or you don't see enough of this going on like it used to because they have to condense it into an 11, 12 episode series.
But you would
8 episodes.
I know, but by this point you would expect the group to gel, and it just there doesn't seem to be.
To be fair, they have to a certain extent because Tanya seems to know everybody better than they know themselves. She even defended both kids to their parents when their parents were freaking out, saying, No. You don't know April and you don't know Ram. So,
okay, guys, Susan's had her hand up for a minute here, so let's get to.
Okay, I just really wanted to, finish my part of the review because I must go. I don't know if you guys wanted to want me to rate it or whatever, but
well, if you have to go ahead and rate it.
If you have to go on ahead and rate it. We're gonna get.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10, and then I have to go.
Okay, we'll catch you later. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I hope it wasn't an emergency. Okay. All right. He was either there or Matt was calling her. I saw him with the phone.
Mm. One of those reaching arms. Yeah.
Come to Coventry. I got the hookup. All right.
My God.
Okay. Well, now, before we go on to rate it, this hit the news.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go on.
Class has not even made it into the top 50 programs of the week.
Yeah.
Which means it's getting less than 67,889 views per episode. That is not good.
That's that's the BBC's fault, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, they dumped it on an internet-only channel. They're not promoting it at all. It doesn't show up on BBC America till next year. Who co-funded it? So, I mean, to be honest, you're getting what they paid for, I guess. I mean, they're not getting what they paid for. I'm not defending the show itself, because obviously nobody here really loved this episode today, but they should be doing a little bit more with it as far as letting people know it's out there to be seen. We only know about it because we're Doctor Who fans.
Is there any word on the ratings for space in Canada?
No word on that as yet, but I'm
Are
hoping.
they showing it now?
Are they showing it now?
Yeah,
I guess where space in Australia is. I'm shocked because they haven't been putting the ratings up anywhere I can find. Normally, Doctor Who News is right on top of that.
But see, we don't even know how they rate a BBC Three program anymore, do we? Because it's online.
Well, just basically, I think they just go off number of views and whatnot like that, and it's not even getting into the top 50 of the week, and that's bad. You know, it seems like maybe the BBC just deliberately killed this thing.
Could be, but to be fair, they have 3 other channels. They could show this a day later on BBC Two. It's not like you can see more episodes of Dad's Army. I mean, they could have showed this on the actual television where people can watch it. So I mean, where it premieres on 3, but they move it up to 2 for that. It's not like it's
it's on that ridiculous early morning time slot. It's like most people are probably seeing.
Time slot's got nothing to do with it, so you can watch it anytime you want.
You can watch it anytime through the day.
Yeah, but people are just gonna. I know that, but I was always thinking that if you watch it as it goes out, then that's
no, because it's like Netflix. They'll release a whole series in the morning one day.
It doesn't make sense.
You want to see it.
It doesn't make sense of the low viewing figures. Then, if you can watch it any time during that day that it's out, why is it getting such low view turns?
That's it. No one knows about it, because aside from obviously if you're vested in the sort of surrounding shows and everything like that, I wouldn't have known about it. I asked my kids about it. They don't know about it. So there's a lack of thing. Like Tim says, the best thing would be, chuck it out on BBC Three or the iPlayer, however you want to dub it, and then rack it out on BBC Two a couple of days later.
Yeah.
But there isn't that to it. I
know
know
one's not that busy. It is a Doctor Who spin-off, supposedly.
Yeah, if you go on to iPlayer, it comes up on their sort of page of the top shows. And I think that's just the BBC sort of trying to sort of pacify, to be honest with you, to say, we're giving you the publicity, it's there in front of it. But if you don't know anything about it and you got no concept of it, because I didn't see any real sort of adverts on TV for it either, then people aren't going to click on it because they've got no point of reference for it. So it just seems to be, I don't know whether it's just appeasement or something like that, but perhaps.
I'm sorry, but why would the BBC not want it to be successful? Because here's the thing: BBC America, which is apparently a second organization, they put money into this. They put money into this animated Power of the Daleks that we have now. It's become part of that thing. So I mean, why would they not? Why would they want it to fail? Why would they deliberately just leave it?
Once it hits your side of the pond, it will probably accrued more of
I think that's a mistake as well. They should have just ran.
Like Phil said, I think I got the funny feeling when they start showing it here, it's gonna have more than 50,000 views. So if it wants to get renewed, I think BBC America will be the only one that honoring and airing it. Like the way they do it, Orphan Black is a BBC American show, but it's showed in England in their channel. But I can definitely feel that's going to happen with Class Season 2. That
They're going to rely on the
it's gonna
That-
be- it's gonna
yeah,
be
no, that's
BBC America
if.
show.
We got to keep that in mind. If this don't improve, you
No,
know,
it has to air it when they start airing here. It has to make more than 50,000 views. It has to get at least 200.
yeah, but we also got to look at the possibility that most of the fans are going to be torrenting it as it comes out.
Well, certainly BBC America aren't saying, well, look, we've made an investment. You need to protect our investment. And the thing is, the BBC, they're just going to use the budget because the drama budget with BBC is either you use it or you lose it type thing. So, yeah, I think BBC America sort of needs to sort of either step in the full way. And if there's not a market for it, then they're going to shy away from a second season.
But I think that's what they did, though, isn't it? It's the BBC that has to work with the charter or whatever, which means they can't. I mean, in other words, it was co-funded like any of those shows for over 50 years now that get made. They get donations from the U.S. to get them made, like the Six Wives of Henry VIII back in 1970. I mean that they were co-funding a program because they wanted it to be shown over here. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but we don't know how that works though, because the BBC totally works on what they get from the taxpayer.
Yeah.
So how can we know how this actually works? What kind of deal it is?
You'll probably find it'll be an amalgamation of BBC free viewing figures, BBC America. They'll need to combine the lot and then make a decision on it. And it's stupid because it's obviously not airing at the one time.
Yeah, because when does this air next year?
No one knows.
I think they said it's going to air around the same time season 10 of Doctor Who airs.
Which will be April.
That's going to be April.
Or maybe March and the lead up to it. You know.
Their best bet would be run it back to back with Doctor Who. Then they'll get some viewers.
Maybe.
I just don't want to see the toys because they're going to be rubber and dodgy.
Would anyone like a rubber quill? Yeah.
See, now look, I got my Charlie doll and my Mateus doll. Look what they do.
Oh no! It could be worse. It could be the He-Man and Thundercats homoerotic dolls for the 1980s. Anyway.
Oh look, here's Ram in April. Oh, okay.
And you get the point though about once it gets aired over in BBC America, people have already seen it by torrenting it. So how's that gonna?
Likely, yeah. I don't see it getting any ratings because if anyone's going to watch it, they're going to watch it when they can. You know, it's just how Doctor Who fans are. But we watch it in perfectly legal means.
Of course, yes. Of course we did. Yes.
To be fair, I think Doctor Who, when it's on BBC America, does get quite a lot of views from people that none of us know. So I mean, it's probably something like that, where it's you have regular people that watch regular TV when it's regularly on, rather than other means. So.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I guess they're leaving the episodes of Class up for 11 months. They said so. Hopefully, they'll come to a decision after it airs on BBC America, and then Crisis averted. But it's just to me, if those views don't go up, I don't see them ordering a second series.
Well, it's like we've always said: if it tanks, it goes into the history books as a mini-series. The only thing is, I hope they've catered for the fact that if it does tank, episode 8 will either tie everything up or leave something open, because that's what they've got to do until they get a decision on that.
I think they should just kill the whole thing and make it the Mrs. Quill adventures.
There you go.
Oh.
She's by far the most interesting character on there so far. Okay. But okay, let's rate the sucker and put it to bed. We've gone on. Okay, let's start with Philip.
As much as it was a bit of a hot mess, I did enjoy it to some level. So I'm going to give it a generous 8 out of 10.
Okay, AJ.
Last week I gave the first part a 3 out of 5. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. So overall, 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was kind of bollocks this week.
Okay, Matt Rose.
Last week I gave mine about a 5. This week it's going to be a number 3.
Really? Oh my God, you lot are harsh, man.
Okay, Graham.
As much as there was too much vegetables in the gumbo pot, it did keep me watching. It's not as if I was yawning or falling asleep or needing to go take a Valium or anything. Convoluted mess, but nevertheless, I'll be at 6.
Alrighty, let's move on to William.
The only good part was Quill and some of the few scenes like that, but I'm not gonna be a generous. I'm gonna give it a 4. That's it.
Ooh.
They might as well can the show then if that's how it's going to be scored out.
Oh, stop your bitching, Phil.
Well, you gotta remember, it's not like I have any secret ties to the BBC or something. You know?
Wink, wink.
Or otherwise, you'd see me with my eyes wide like this, talking to you like you're a 5th grader. Okay. Like a certain other host. All right, let's move on to BFED.
If I remember correctly, I think I put 4.5 on last week. This was only slightly better by the addition of dead bodies. It's going to be a 5. But like I say, that's purely for
dead bodies.
Yeah, dead bodies, Quill, and the headmistress. Aside from that, it's got a lot to pull back in a very short amount of time, and I think if it doesn't happen, I think you're pretty safe to say you're not going to see it again.
Miniseries, yep.
Okay, Graham.
Yeah, you got me already. It's time.
That's right. I couldn't remember if I got you on that first rotation. So the only person we're waiting on is Tim. Okay, Tim, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I agree exactly with what Tim just said because it could use some work, but it wasn't a bad story. It just was a bit sloppily made. I would give it this particular half of the 2-part. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, but only because again I don't think it's supposed to be directed at myself. It wasn't bad television. It just wasn't, something I'd
coherent television. Yeah.
I'm in Matt's territory. I'm dropping this sucker down to a 5. It was just off the rails, way off the reservation. It seemed to me like they had no idea where they were going until they got to the very end, and it just the plots were just going faster and furious. It was like spin the wheel, Raggedy Man. Oh my god. Okay, so next week we'll be talking about episode 6. Which will hopefully have a preview of it. Anyone got the title on it yet?
Nope. Oh, I know. Just Detention.
Hold on. Detained or something, is it?
It's called Detained, yeah.
Oh, so it's the Detention. Okay, Detained. Yeah.
So, now we're going to watch The Breakfast Club Gone Wrong.
Oh, don't you forget about me.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Okay, so until next week, everybody take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a good one.
Time for some regicide.
Yay!
And watch your carbs.